Today's topic is creative writing, creative thinking, creative living. What drives somebody to create? To create poetry, short stories, novels, painting, sculpture. What's the driving force? What is the driving force behind all creativity? Whether it's poetry, music, sculpture, painting. What's the driving force? Inherent in each individual is a creative impulse. It's there. A baby will do it. They'll start playing around with different ways, start creating. It's natural. So the creative impulse, we do not create the creative impulse. The creative impulse is a gift from God. It's a gift from our Creator. We do not create it in itself. Just like we don't create our own life, we don't create our own creativity. But the question is, how can we maximize it? How can we actualize our creative potential? Some of those creative aspects are generated by suffering, whether it's depression, anxiety, panic attacks. All forms of suffering will drive somebody to being creative to deal with it. Physical pain, cold weather, generates, find ways to then deal with the elements, leads to creativity. The opposite of creativity is boredom. A person's bored, nothing to do. What is a person saying when they're bored? They're saying, they might say, gee, I went to this show, it was boring, or I was with so-and-so, it was boring, or I was sit by myself and I was bored. What it says to me is that that person's thoughts are boring to them. It's not interesting. So we're going to talk about creative thinking. It's very entertaining. It's very, can be very productive. We're going to talk about how to increase our creative thinking. Now, we know for a fact that writing can help reduce a person's depression, anxiety, help them even find meaning in it. See, that's one aspect. A person can suffer, but then when you find meaning in the suffering, so you can help others and help yourself in the future, well, that's productive suffering as opposed to wasteful suffering. If you look at most of the great songs, what are people singing about? Typically, they're singing about that they're suffering, they're crying, their loved one left them, they're going through hard times economically, whatever, they're suffering. Now, it's also then writing to express our joy and the beauty that we see. That's also a tremendous urge towards expressing ourselves. We want to be known. We want to express ourselves. Now, the best self-expression and the proper use of the creative impulse is not only self-expression, no. Because a person can express very negative aspects and make everyone hearing them, bring them down to very dysfunctional levels, bring them down into depression itself. You can make a movie that depresses anybody that sees it, for example. No, the proper function of the creative impulse is the upliftment of humankind. To uplift yourself, your loved ones, and humanity. That's the proper use of the creative impulse. And we've all seen art and heard art that's done it. We've heard music that just makes you just soar. And you've had other ones that just bring out very egotistical, violent impulses. But the true creative expression and the truest form is meant to uplift. Well, now we're going to proceed with types of writing that I've done myself. Poetry, epigrams, what I call epigrammatic flow, songs, and inventions. It's about all these forms of creativity. And I'm going to give you examples of it from my own life's work. Now keep in mind that the foundation for creativity really needs to be based on a love of truth. It's a tremendous desire to express the truth and uncover the reality in a situation. A fascination, a quest for it. And at the other side of it is a hatred of lies. So a person can be surrounded in lies, whether it's in society or relationship, whatever. The hatred of the lie, not of the people, not of the liar, but a hatred of the lie itself.